Hello again. In a previous tutorial, we looked at using variables to keep track of unknown or possibly changing values in our code. But let me ask you this. What if we had a shopping cart and we don't know how many things people are going to buy? So how do we create variables for that? Now we could create variables for item 1, item 2, item 3 all the way down to item 50, but that still doesn't solve the problem. What if they ordered 51 items or wanted to add one later on? So this isn't the best way to do it. There is something else that will serve this purpose better. You can guess from the title of this tutorial that it's through arrays. Now an array is using one variable to store multiple related values. Now beyond that theoretical gobbledygook, if you think about a pack of cards, one pack of cards is an array of 52 cards. So it's much simpler than the first explanation I gave you. So let's just take a look, because there's an even better, more visual explanation to help show you what an array is. I like to think of an array as being like a bookshelf. I'm going to start with the JavaScript definition. If we say var my books. Now an array is defined in JavaScript with the square brackets. Ending with a semicolon. And you can think of an array as being like a bookshelf with a row of books and each book having its own place on the bookshelf. So this is our bookshelf array of books. And again, the square brackets look like bookends to me, which helps enforce that metaphor. So that's what an array is. We've got one variable name, but it's keeping track of 3 books. Let's make a more concrete example in coding. Again, in JavaScript here, my fruits is the name of the variable for an array with our square brackets of fruits. So I'm going to put an apple in here. It's a word, so I'm putting it in quotes. Each item is separated by a comma. So it's got its own space on the bookshelf. Limes, a closing square bracket for the bookends and a semicolon to end the statement. So this is our array of my fruits. One variable keeping track of 3 different values, but you can see they're related values. Now, when we retrieved a value before in the variables tutorial, we referenced the variable's name. But in this case, we've got 3 possibilities. So how do we get the one we want? Well, we start off by referencing the variable or the name of the array, my fruits. Then we use our square brackets to indicate that it's an array. Now in here, we need to tell it which position on the shelf is the thing that we want. Now here's the gotcha with working with arrays. You and I looking at this would say this is number 1, number 2, and number 3. But the way that arrays work in programming is the first one is actually 0. That's referred to as its index number. The spot on the shelf is its index. So the first one is at spot 0. The second one is at spot 1. And the third is at spot 2. And it's this index number that we reference when we're referring to the array. So if we want grapes, we say my fruits 1. And that will give us grapes. So in this fashion, we're able to store multiple related values through one variable name. And this is what's going to give us the ability to enact a shopping cart. We're going to store it in an array instead of a million or even more unknown variables.